Alright people, we just got a really big Dying Light 2 update and there are some pretty huge changes in here, so let's just get straight into it. One of the biggest changes by far is to the grappling hook. They have fixed it. You can no longer just climb up any tall building just infinitely anymore. You can't just bungee your way up. It is now working as intended, so I do understand this change, but I do really feel for the speedrunning community because this changes absolutely everything for those guys. There were also some weird changes to the broom, which is an Easter egg developer item. First of all, you're now riding it the correct way, where before it would be backwards for some reason. And second of all, if you cancel it right before you're about to hit the ground, you just die, you just take fall damage for some reason, and this is probably going to mess with speedrunners once again doing nighttime trials. And another Easter egg item, another developer item that they've nerfed, and I know this one is going to rub some people the wrong way, is the Korak Charm. This is the item that lets you repair your weapon an infinite amount of times, but now it costs you 666 scraps to repair your weapon, which would be fine if the limit that you can carry wasn't 999 scraps, and you can stash another 999 in your player stash. So basically, you can carry a max of 2,000. Repairing one weapon for 666 scraps is really costly, so I think the best thing Techland could do here, for various reasons, is to increase that amount so that we can carry 9,999 scraps. I'm also just a little confused because I know that they have tweeted before that this item is working as intended and they're not going to change it, but there it is. It now costs you a lot of scraps to repair your weapons, but you can still repair them infinitely. It's just going to cost. They've also improved the gore and made it a lot more specific in detail depending on where you hit enemies and what kind of enemy you hit them with, and they react more accordingly, which is really cool to see that detail coming through. And they've really big one is they've improved the Ragdoll Physics. When enemies are falling off rooftops, they're not just falling straight vertically down while standing up. Enemies aren't just brushing against spike traps and like nothing's happening. If you kick a zombie into the spikes, they are going to ragdoll against it, their body is going to actually cling to it, and you get the sound effects like you did in the first game. It still doesn't work quite as good as in the first game. I think Dying Light 1 still has much better Ragdoll Physics, but this is definitely a step in the right direction, and it's already a big improvement. There are also additional HUD options, which is fantastic. You can get rid of your health bar, the time in the bottom right, you can get rid of the item selector, like the weapon wheel in the bottom left. That is really, really cool. You can turn it off completely, or you can set it to dynamic, which is now the default, which means when you're at full health and you're not in the middle of some action, it won't show those things. But when you're in a combat situation or where it's relevant, it will then show those HUD elements to you. So you have the choice there. The only thing is that the compass is still always there. There's no option for it. The only way you can get rid of the compass is by using your survivor sense, which is really weird because that's probably when you want to see your compass. And howler indicators, also there's no option for those. I personally would love an option to switch those off because I don't want to know where the howlers are. It makes them way too easy to avoid. I'd prefer for them to sneak up on me, and well, they've actually buffed howlers as well. They've increased the range at which they can detect you, they've increased their resistance to ranged weapons, and if you don't kill them with your ranged attack, if you shoot an arrow at them and they don't die, they will instantly initiate a chase for the player. So yeah, you're gonna have to watch out. And that's not all. At nighttime, you're going to be seeing more banshees and more charges. This has been one of the biggest complaints from the player base, is that you don't run into these zombies pretty much at all after the first time that you fight them in the story. So you can look forward to seeing more banshees and charges out in the wild. There are also plenty of other changes, like fixing certain beds that wouldn't let you sleep at night, and well, some other stuff you can see on screen here, but those are just the important ones that I thought I would cover. Let me know what you think. Are you devastated that the grapple hook has been nerfed? Are you devastated that you're gonna have to pay 666 scraps to repair your weapons now? And are you really excited to see some proper ragdoll physics and more banshees, like the coolest zombie type, out in the wild? Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you guys out there in the world of Dying Light 2.